Welcome back to the LRE series, Tactician. We're just in time for some last minute or maybe last month of preparations for the second repeat of Vitruvius. First, the numbers. If this is your first Vitruvius' event, you probably won't be able to unlock him unless you wallet warriored hard, because you'll need 12,500 points and all the 10 free missions, which roughly corresponds to clearing all of the conditions up to and including stage 9 of each track, which tends to need gold 1 heroes at the very least. For a more detailed dissection of this, check out my first Vitruvius video, link may be in the description. Now, how do we get those points? Well, you need to clear the stages with teams that meet certain criteria, also known as conditions in Kaurin speak, similar to the quest events, with the key difference that you can complete the conditions over multiple runs. That said, the number of tickets, runs, we get is limited, so it helps to run teams that knock off multiple conditions at once, if you can. And finally, here's a bunch of non-exhaustive team suggestions who do just that for every track of the event. The Alpha track. We are fighting the Necrons and can use everyone except the Necrons. The main conditions are everyone has at most one ranged hit or one melee hit if the character doesn't have a ranged attack, and everyone can deal power damage. The lesser conditions are everyone has a ranged attack, nobody deals psychic damage, and nobody has the resilient trait. Theoretically maxable in 2 tickets, but max 1 hit will be really hard with the Scarab Swarms. Still, there are at least 2 ways to achieve this. The first, and probably the easier way, everything except maximum 1 hit with Thoth, Volk, Maugan Ra, Burchard, Azrael, Morven, and or Helbrecht, and then a second team with max 1 hit with Incisus, Pestilian, Archimatos, Shosel, Calandis, or Abraxas, and maybe with Vitruvius and Tangida, because healing. And the key point here is to use Pestilian's passive to deal with the swarms. Alternatively, you can do everything except all power with a team that has Calandis, Sarkael, Shosel, Certus, Azrael, and maybe Tangida and Vitruvius again, and then all power with Rodbone, Angrex, Thoth, Volk, and many other heroes that have power damage. A special mention here goes to Thoriad, who makes your 4-hit melee power heroes able to one-shot swarms with that +1 extra hit. Shout out to Kota for commenting on this in my Thoriad video, because it's a really ingenious move. Now, for the beta track. We are fighting the Black Legion and can use everyone except any Chaos heroes. The main conditions are everyone can deal piercing damage and everyone can deal bolter damage. And the lesser conditions are everyone has max 2 ranged hits or max 2 melee hits if they are melee only, then nobody has the infiltrate trait, and do not summon in the battle. This is maxable in 2 tickets by, for example, the following teams: all piercing, maximum 2 hits, no infiltrate, with Calandis, Shosel, Incisus, Eldrion, and the Tyrant Guard, and on all bolter, no infiltrate, because why not, again, no summons with Isabella, Bellator, Burchard, Roswitha, Yarick, Kalgar, or Morven. Just remember not to summon with Bellator and Yarick. A special mention to a mech-based team able to do max 2 hits, no infiltrate, with Actus, Tangida, Vitruvius, Thutmose, and Makotep. Finally, the Gamma track. We are fighting the Imperium, and you can use everyone non-Imperial. The main conditions here are everyone can deal power damage, and everyone has max 2 ranged hits or max 2 melee hits if they don't have a ranged attack. And the lesser conditions are nobody has the flying trait, then nobody has the Psyker trait, and nobody from the Death Guard faction. Theoretically, this one is maxable in 2 tickets as well, but one team currently doesn't have a healer, and the other will maybe want, maybe need, depending on how tough you are, Rodbone. So, the first team. Max 2 hits, no Death Guard, no flying. Would have a Calandis, a Shosel, an Eldrion, an Archimatos, and a Tyrant Guard. Abraxas is also a decent option here, but his summons, unlike those of Shosel and Archimatos, are a limited resource. The second team would go for all power, no Psyker, and no flying, again because possible, with Rodbone and pretty much any combination of Angrax, Thoth, Volk, Maugenra, Abaddon, Anshi, and Malades. Now, keep in mind these teams are meant for getting the maximum number of points from the least number of tickets spent. It is perfectly fine to include someone breaking 1 or 2 conditions if that means clearing the stage at all. And even if you're a newer tactician and can't quite unlock Vitruvius this time, there will be one more chance to do so in a few months. Although, I would recommend prioritizing building heroes for Ragnar rather than those for Vitruvius, because the fucking pooch is just so much more useful, at least until we know who the final Adeptus Mechanicum hero is. And that's it for today. I hope you found this useful, and I also made videos showing all the stages of this event, which I will put links to in the description. Check them out, Tactician! Thanks for watching, and, well, if you are so inclined, I will see you again in the next videos. Bye bye!